I think it has started. So for no arbitrage, this should have been the condition. U, capital R and D. This is how they should be related. So let's prove the one part, and then we'll talk about the next. Next one would be very easy. So what we are saying is that at t is equal to 0, if I have an asset at t is equal to 1, correct? Its value could be either US naught or DS naught with the probability P and probability 1 minus P. We have a risk-free asset at t is equal to 0 whose value is B naught, and it can increase to RB naught irrespective of whatever is the asset value, whether it is US naught or DS naught. Now suppose we have an call option at t is equal to 0. So at t is equal to 1, either we have CU or CD, and CU can be given as maximum US naught minus K and D, and CD can be given as maximum DS naught minus K comma 0. Sorry, is it okay? So this could be at t is equal to 0 if you buy and call option, and at this would be at t is equal to 1. These are the two payoffs which you can get. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now what I'm calling it as value of my portfolio at t is equal to 0. So let's say that we have X units of asset and Y units of risk free, where we call it as a, you can simply think as a bond, right? So the value of portfolio at t is equal to 0 will be simply X S naught plus Y B naught. Do you agree with this? Yes or no? And value of my portfolio at t is equal to 1 would have two different values, which is X US naught plus Y R B naught. With this could be with the probability P, and X D S naught plus Y R B naught. This with the probability 1 minus P. Is it okay?
Sir, we have to subtract K also, no?
K for what?
Like the payoff, like because we will buy at equal to 1, na? So
We will buy
at equal to 1, na? So like at value of K and US 0, and we will sell at US 0. So the value that will be available to us at t equal to 1 will be US.
at present. Have we talked about the call option here? No, I'm talking about.
Okay.
I have not talked about the, first of all, I have not talked about that this should be, there should be a call option involved into that. I'm just talking about if there is a no arbitrage. If there is an no arbitrage, no, what should be the relationship between U, R and D? So I'm just taking asset and the risk-free part, these two together. Correct? So I'm marking into the red one and saying that for no arbitrage, correct. Let's take a different condition. Let's say that this is not true, and let's say that I take a case one where actually, you know, R is less than U and D. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So to prove this one, can you think of what is happening here? The risk-free interest rate is less. The risk-free interest rate is less as compared to what the asset price should go. So for you can think of, I can basically take a loan and put it into the asset. My asset is going to give me the higher value as compared to the risk-free return. Are you getting this point? Yes or no?
Sir, R is our like risk-free
Yes.
interest means that is loan interest also, like we
Yeah,
can
yes.
assume
This
that.
is
Yeah.
this is especially 1 plus R if I have taken it as a compounded per period.
Yes, sir. Then yes, sir. Got it.
All of you, are you being able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So what I'll do, I'll take very simple one. I'll take X is equal to minus 1 by S naught. This is one value, and I'll take Y is equal to 1 by B naught. I'll put this value into the top one. All the equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. So you see, for the equation 1, the value of my portfolio is how much now? At T is equal to
0.
0. Minus 1 by S naught into S naught plus 1 by B naught into B naught. That is 0. It means that the value of my portfolio is 0. So the no arbitrage, it says that if it is 0 at any point of time, it should remain 0 in the future also. Let's try to see if I put this X and Y value at T is equal to 1. What could be the in first case when asset price will move with the with the factor U? So what should have been the value here? If I took put X is equal to S naught, okay. Sorry. Uh, yeah, it should be minus 1 by B naught. X should be 1 by S naught. Right. So what should have been its value? U minus R
Yes.
with probability P. And for the second case, is D minus R with probability 1 minus P. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now what we have assumed is that U and D both are greater than R. It means that I have a positive quantity here and I have a positive quantity here. Right? This is positive, this is positive. U minus R will also be positive and D minus R will also be positive. Yes or no? Anuj Kumar
Yes, sir.
Singh. So we have, I mean, if I try to calculate the so we are certain that either this or this will happen. So we
Sir,
have a
I have a question, sir.
Mhm.
Sir, like y is our unit now, and we are saying capital Y is equal to minus 1 by B naught, like B0. And B0, like, is it possible it will be negative?
What do you mean by the negative one?
Sir, like Y is equal to minus 1 by B0. What does it mean, sir, basically? Y is our quantity now, like number of units.
Huh. So,
Uh,
I mean, uh, how would I say this one? I just want to make it as a zero. Correct?
okay, sir.
I just want to make it as a zero. And here I assume that fraction, asset you can buy or sell. This is not a difficult assumption. Let me tell you why. So let's say that 1 by S naught comes out to be 0.1. Suppose that one. Correct? It is possible.
Yes, sir.
So what I am saying is that I am buying or selling 0.1 unit of the asset. But it is not possible. You can simply multiply with a factor 10. Correct? So multiplying 10 with 0 will not going to affect the right hand side. It will also remain 0. So,
We are multiplying 10 with whole term now.
right, let's say that 1 by S naught comes out to be 0.1 and 1 by B naught comes out to be, let's say, 0.2. Is it possible?
Yes,
Na? These are the two values. I multiplied with a 10 value, multiplied with this outside with the 10. Right? Still this right hand side will be 0.
yes, sir.
But what we have got is 1 unit of S naught and 2 units of B naught. Right, which is okay, you can buy or sell in the market, so it does not matter. That's why we can always play with the fractional part, because that fractional part, if we multiply with a suitable number, we can get a integer which we can buy or sell.
Yes, sir. Agree, sir.
Correct? So in that case, if
Yes, sir.
suppose that if the fraction multiplication factor is 10 here, so actually your profit would be 10 times here and 10 times here.
Okay, sir.
Did you get this part? How many of you have understood that there is an arbitrage here? Ashish?
So what if like our portfolio value will not be zero? Then what will happen?
I mean, look, the no arbitrage principle says that, right? There are two ways of understanding no arbitrage. First is that for same asset, correct? For the same asset, there could not be two different prices. First part. And the second part is that if you have a sum value of your portfolio, it should grow with the risk-free rate. So if we have a value here, which is, let's say that Z, then at t is equal to 1, the value should be Z times 1 plus R, or no arbitrage.
Yes, sir.
Right, but the easiest way to show it, that we start with 0, because it's a 0, so whatever way it can grow, it will remain 0.
Yes, sir.
Right, and then if you have any positive quantity, so that's an arbitrage one.
Yes, sir. So like this is like possible for every case, but you are showing it for zero because it is easy to show.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
sir.
if,
Got
if,
it.
if we have a Z value here, then the growth
Yes.
should be Z times 1 plus R.
Okay, sir. Got it.
But easy, I mean, we can start with the 0, because I mean, if I know the value of the two portfolio, I can make it. I mean, I know that if I want to buy X1, X units, What is the total price? I can borrow this one from the bank, and I can make that from my pocket. Initially, I'm not paying anything. So the value of, the net investment value is 0.
Yes, sir.
Any question, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Huh.
sir, how we are saying that Z is value, like it will go to Z1 plus R. Like we are getting a value U minus R, na?
No, 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 no. This is basically, I said that if for the no arbitrage principle, try to forget this one for a time being. Correct. I started with 0 and we have a positive one. But let's say that if any of the asset value at time t is equal to 0 is Z, correct. For the no arbitrage, it should grow with the value with the risk-free one.
Okay, yes, sir. Risk-free one. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even this part, when we will be dealing with the stochastic differential equation for Black's course, uh, then we will actually come back into this one when we say that an asset is growing with the risk-free rate.
So, sir, like here VP of 1, sir, we are getting U minus R. So, like to check whether it is arbitrage or not, so it should be U minus R minus this Z1 plus R, na?
Why Z is 0 here, na?
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, yes, sir. Okay.
This is he
Yes, sir,
asked
yes, sir. Got it, sir.
he asked me that if it is not 0, if it has a certain other value, then what will happen for no arbitrage? That's what I explained it. But if you
Yes,
have
sir,
a
yes, got
two
it.
asset, we know that if we are buying how much price we are paying, and if we are so to get that one, we can always borrow that one and make our initial portfolio values equal to 0.
Yes.
Yes, Ashish, you were asking something. Ashish left. So, okay, can we move ahead and talk about the one period binomial model? Quickly, I'll try to finish one period binomial model today. So please raise your hand if.
So, can you explain the Z minus R thing again?
Can you explain which part?
Sir, this Z will become Z1 plus R that I didn't get.
For a time being, please forget this part. Please forget this part. Right, we will come back and talk about this one when we will discuss about the stochastic differential equation. What I said that for risk-free for no arbitrage, your asset should grow with the risk-free rate. This is what my thing is that. That's what I said, that if the initial value of any asset is Z, for no arbitrage at one period, it should grow with the value Z times 1 plus R. I'll discuss this one when we talk about the stochastic differential equation for the Black-Scholes formula. Okay.
Okay, so what I understood right now is if VP 0, the value of VP at t equal to 0 is Z, it should be Z into 1 plus R at t equals to 1, right?
What?
If the value of my portfolio at time t equal to 0 is Z, it should grow to Z into 1 plus R at t equals to 1.
For the no arbitrage one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that this should be the expected value. Try to understand that. Right, but because we are dealing with a binomial model on instead only one period binomial model, instead of when we jump into where we have a complete probability distribution in the continuous time frame instead of a discrete one which we are taking right now, then we will talk about this Z and Z into 1 plus R. At present, what I'm saying is I can always make it as a 0 initial investment. Is it making sense? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, totally.
So please raise your hand if I can go to and derive the first one period binomial model. Right. So you have to carry forward few things which we did for the dollar case. Right. So let's start with the single period binomial formula. Obviously, this is for the European. So let's start with the call option, and we can extend this one for the put option. So first thing, same assumption is that the initial asset price is S naught, correct? After one period, this asset can be US naught. I'm making and writing in a short, just a symbolic one with the probability P and probability 1 minus P. This all you know right now. Third case, we are assuming U, D and R, capital R, all to be greater than 0, where R is how the risk-free part is growing in one period. And the fourth one, we are assuming that U, R and D are related to this one. So let's start and see what would be the model. So if we have an asset S naught at t is equal to 0, its value can be US naught and DS naught. Now, if we have a risk-free part, which I'm denoting as a B naught, it can be RB naught, irrespective of whatever is the market condition. This I'm writing is the probability P and probability 1 minus P. The same thing, I'm repeating it.
Sir, sir, when we are saying from between U to D, then it means that arbitrage maybe happen or may not be happen. Like it depends.
Now,
That's why we are putting.
in this case, there is no arbitrage. Why?
So 100% confirm. Like
Go back. This is positive and this would be negative.
yes, sir.
So you are
but
not certain. You are not certain that okay. I mean, there is a probability involved into that now. That there is a chances that you will have a positive one. There is a chances that you will have a negative one. You are not sure that you always have a positive one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. But still, we are no arbitrage like directly writing. Is it fair, sir? Like we are saying no arbitrage, but it may possible, na?
It may possible means what?
Like we have a p probability that u minus r can happen.
Right. So when we say that we cannot guarantee, can we guarantee that this will happen? This can
No,
happen. This can happen. Can we guarantee? No arbitrage is something like a guarantee. I mean, if there is an arbitrage condition, there is a guarantee that you will have a positive quantity. But now you cannot guarantee. It can be, it cannot be. In some cases it will have, some cases it will not have.
Okay, okay. Now I understand. Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
And C naught value can go to CU and CD. Now you know that because we are dealing with the call option. This is again US naught minus K plus, and this is DS naught minus K plus. No max of 0 and the positive quantity. So instead of XY, let's say that we have now A units of asset and B units of bond or the risk-free part. So now the value of my portfolio at t is equal to 0 will be A S naught plus B B naught. And the value of my portfolio at t is equal to 1, same as this, is A U S naught with the probability 1 minus P. That's a simple one. I write this as equation 1, this is as equation 2, and this is as equation 3. Correct. So now What should be the C naught value? What should be the C naught value? If you remember what we did with the dollar one, try to bring that analogy here. We had X units of asset, Y unit or dollar, and Y units of, let's say, that borrowing or lending from the bank, and that the difference that was there, we call it as C naught, because what I want is at t is equal to 0, my net investment should be 0. It means that what I can write here, whatever is the value of the portfolio here, should be the value of the call option premium. Are you getting this point?
So can you repeat once?
What I'm saying is, okay, the equation one, if you remember the dollar one discussion which we did, what we did is we had either we bought or did the short selling of the dollar initially, and then we either borrowed or we lended to the bank the money, and adding these two together, whatever was left, we said that would be the value of my call option premium. Do you remember this? Do you remember this or not? Are you getting my point? I'm calling it as VP0. This AS naught plus BB naught should be the value of my call option premium. Do you agree with this? Yes or no? Please raise your hand. So, I mean, only 4 people have put it this one, because now the derivation is there, an algebraic derivation is there. Anybody who is not being able to understand why this will be C naught? Equation 1. Please raise his hand and ask me, because I have explained this one in the first class when we talked about the dollar example.
Sorry, can you get through the analogy once again that you just mentioned about the dollar?
Let me come back here. Can you see this class, what we did? You remember? Can you see on the screen? We did this one on the first class of the option. Jatin.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Right. So what we did, you try to see that we said that the initial investment should be equal to 0. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this we were knowing what we are doing. Yeah, sorry, I lost the connection for a few seconds. So this is, we are making it initial value of my portfolio is equal to 0, including the call option premium. Here we said that how much money he should charge, and Z is the amount I'm saying he should be charging it. To make it is equal to 0, I can simply, instead of that one, I can shift it to the right side and says that whatever is the value here, I can simply say at t is equal to 0, the value can analogy be given as V naught, sorry, C naught. Yes or no?
That Z value, na sir?
A Z value is being basically, we are now calling it as a C naught. Z value is what? Premium charges, because we are
Yes,
looking
sir.
for. So Paras, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now we try to solve equation 2 and equation 3. Correct? Right. For a time being, we remove this probability part and we say that AU S naught plus BR B naught will be equal to Cu and ADS naught plus BR B naught should be giving me the value of CD. So if you remember, the Cu was sometimes 500 and CD was 0 in the call option type of thing which we did for the dollar exchange one. So now this value I can give it as a Cu and CD, yes or no?
Yes.
Paras,
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you are confused, let me know.
Yes, there is a confusion still.
What kind of
Not
confusion you
totally
have?
clear.
What I want is let's say that if I have a C naught option, no, I bought an option, whether it's, let's say,
So
try
what
to,
is CU and CD exactly?
what is?
What is CU and CD exactly mean here?
I have written this part here. CU means that what is the payoff or the so it's a payoff when the market goes up, and what is the payoff if the market goes down?
Okay, yeah.
Right? So in the dollar case, it was what? If the market went up, so it was 70 into 100 minus 65 into 100. So the market price went to 70, but your strike price was still remains 65. Correct? And because you were
Yes.
exchanging $100, so we said that it is 500. So we directly put that 500. In the second case, because it was 62, it will be negative. We took it as a 0.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now if I solve this, now we write it as equation 2 dash and 3 dash. From 2 dash and 3 dash. Correct. It's not tough. You can get the value of A and B, because A and B are the values which are unknown to me. Right. So if you calculate the value of A, you will be getting is this much. This is the value of A, and B you will be getting from equation 2 dash and 3 dash. So now we put this A and B in our first equation to get the value of call option premium. Right? So A has to be multiplied with S naught and B has to multiply it with B naught to get me the value of call option premium. So I can now say that the C naught will be so A S naught plus B B naught. So we have put the value of A and B. We will rearrange this one, correct? And what we can do is we can take it out, as this S naught and this S naught can be cancelled out. Are you following it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's not, it's just a few algebraic step. I mean, I'm writing it, You can double check from your side. So if I rearrange this one, right, what exactly I will get? Is it okay? Is it
Yes,
okay?
sir.
All of you? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So now if I try to see this one, if I add these two together, what will be the value?
One.
Yes. This is also a positive quantity. This is also a positive quantity. Because we have assumed that U, R and D, how they are interrelated. So R minus D is a positive quantity, U minus D is also a positive quantity. Similarly, U minus R and U minus D, these all are positive quantity. So this is what we are looking for in an implied probability. Now, till now, whatever we were writing it as with the probability P and 1 minus P has gone. We are not now dealing with this. Rather, I'll call it as a P cap and this as 1 minus P cap. This is what is the implied probability or risk neutral probability factor which is coming into the picture. Now, if you, what the same thing I talked about, this is CU, P cap and CD 1 minus P cap. Correct? So what I'm saying is I'm finding a probability. I'm trying to find it out. What is this is expected value as t is equal to 1, yes or no? Multiplying with the probability into the value.
Yes, sir.
So this is if you look here, this is expected value at t is equal to 1. And this R factor is discounted to get this value at t is equal to 1, at t is equal to 0.
Sir, this expected
Yes.
value is of C, na?
Expected value of C
C.
naught. C naught.
C not. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
at t is equal to 1.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And then I am discounting it as to get its value as t is equal to 0. So it's so simple. I mean, somebody was asking me for no arbitrage. This is a partially you can understand. You might not be get this one, and but you still see that we are trying to get the expected value, and then we are discounting it with the 1 by r. Right?
Sir, so does that mean that there is a price range for C naught?
There is a
Price range for C naught, like it is not a constant value.
where I said that there would be a price range.
Like if there is some expected value that it should have some minimum lower value and minimum upper higher value. Like if P cap is 0 and 1.
Expected value is a mean value. For us, expected value is a mean value, and I mean, if your data set is complete, I don't think so. You will have a point estimation of a mean. do you know what is point estimation?
Yeah, but let's
So-
say if someone is giving me to find the value of C naught, so I could not say for sure that it would be the mean of that. It could be higher than that as well.
What we are saying is, for the binomial model, we have fixed this value U, R, and D. These are the firm value. These are not a distribution value, probability distribution value. These are the point values. So let's say that U could be 1.1, so it's increasing by 10%. D could be 1.05, so it is increasing by 5%, and R could be 7%, 1.07. So these are not the probability distribution.
Okay. Yeah, okay, got it.
Correct? So
That's why it is called implied probability, I guess.
yeah, implied means that, it's not dependent on the external factor, rather than we are using the internal parameters to find it out. What should be the probability here? So if you remember the last class,
Yeah.
irrespective of what is the player performance, what is the past result of the team, correct? What we are probability we are calculating by finding out how many people have been actually betted for a particular team and for the other team, and combining these two, we are trying to calculate that what should be the probability.
Yes, sir.
Any question? Any question? So we have calculated
Sir,
the C naught value as, just a minute, let me complete this one. Finally, let me write this. P cap Cu plus 1 minus P cap CD. Right, all things are known, where the P cap, you have to remember this. This is R minus D by U minus D. Please ask.
sir, when we are saying internal factors, so our U, R, and D are internal factors, na?
Yes, we with the known parameters we are knowing it exactly.
Okay, we know that the price would increase by this amount of times.
Okay,
That is
okay. If you see that our payoffs are independent of P, correct? But they are dependent upon U, R, and D,
yes, sir.
correct? So this P is something which is not directly coming unless until we want an expected value. What we are doing at any point of time, either my payoff will be this or this, correct? So
Yes, sir.
if this is happening, it is dependent upon U and R. If this is happening, it is dependent upon D and R. So I am using that to bring it into the picture and finding out what would be the risk neutral probability factor and trying to calculate, correct, based upon that what should be the call option price. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's have a general discussion. So I'm stopping the recording. Let me know